Today is a very special day for me because I have a dear, dear, dear friend that I went to high school with. Um, she's an amazing, amazing woman with a heart of gold, and she's worked, God, many years behind the camera in the entertainment industry for many years, including working at Lucasfilm.
Industrial Light and Magic.
Say that again?
Industrial Light and Magic.
Yes, that's the correct way to say it. She will correct me on many things today, I'm sure. She's a cherished light in my life, Andrea Gage.
Oh, I love you, David. Always have, always will.
Oh my God, I love you.
Thank you for having me on here. I'm so honored. You've had such wonderful guests. Wonderful, wonderful. That I cannot get over what you contribute to the industry and to your watchers, and you're amazing.
Well,
you think I have a big heart. He has. You all know. You'll know him. You've been watching him for over 100 episodes, and you know him. He's the biggest love ever. We all know that.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Oh my God.
Mutual admiration society.
Very mutual. My God, I love you. I mean, I'll pay you later for that comment.
Okay.
San Carlos Dawn shirt.
I was class of 83. He was class of 84. Sorry, I hope I didn't out you there. But San Carlos Dons.
No.
Okay,
I'm
good.
class of 82.
Class of 82, I mean. Yeah. Class of 84.
I should have kept it there because of years. Okay, I have to get something done here. Let me see.
Okay, go get on your Dons. Your Dons
Something
on.
from high school? No, not that drawer.
I bought this one for my reunion.
Ah! Okay, I knew I had something in here. Ta-da!
What do you have?
I have got it. I have got my high school ring.
You got a high school ring. Beautiful.
Yes.
Nice blue one.
Yeah.
San Carlos Dons. See, now David's class, that's so funny, was the last graduating class of San Carlos High School. They then closed our high school, and I ended up going to Sequoia High School in Redwood City for my final year.
Well, and how was that transition?
Hard.
Yeah.
For at least the first 6 months. I'm actually grateful to the theater, the Sequoia players, our mutual friend Joan Bernier and myself, who were actors up in San Carlos. Kind of got taken in by that group, and I knew some of those people from middle school because I went to middle school with them, and I have a story about that I think you'll crack up about.
Yeah.
Okay, so David and I did find this. I found the announcement for The Man Who Came to Dinner, in which David and I were a part of, and I'll just read this first part. This play brings with it tremendous comedy acting experience. David Zimmerman, who plays Sheridan Whiteside, the leading character, has had experience in 6 other plays produced in San Carlos. So, of course, he was the best. So, and it goes on to, and Joan was in the play, and our dear friend who we've lost, Stacey Davis, was in the play. Carrie Kochi was in there too. And Andrea Smith. My dad wrote okay, because I guess this must have been my dad's.
Andrea Smith.
So I played the maid. And on one of those performances, I was to hurriedly run down the stairs and say, Mr. Whiteside, so-and-so needs you. And as I was running down the stage, I can see it clearly, and you were stage right in the wheelchair,
right,
looking up at me. I twisted my ankle and fell on my butt.
I remember that.
And you went white. Mr. Whiteside went completely pale. You just looked at me, mouth open, and I stood up and I went, ouch! Mr. Whiteside, but I said my line. I got off stage and went into the boys' bathroom that was available at the time and stuck my ankle under cold water. it swelled up to like 3 times the size. And then when I came back on, I had like this thing open and I was dusting. I got huge applause, right, for that, because people were like, "Oh, she came back on," and I was limping around, but the show must go on, right, people?
Yeah.
Show must go on. So that was our. What year was that? I think was that when you were a senior that year?
I was a fetus.
You just did one. I don't even have the date on these things.
Was that 81, 82?
It must have been. I think it was when you were a senior.
I think it was 81. It was that first play of the year, because then I did, yeah.
Oh, that's right, because I then got sick that year and didn't do the next play.
Oh.
Remember I had the blood disease? That's a whole other story.
Oh, my God.
And you guys did that other, you played the detective.
I think that wasn't the one after that, Diary of Anne Frank?
That's right. Okay, so it was 81. I just found it. Yeah, I just found it.
My brain still works a little.
It still works great, better than mine. So 82 was that next year. Okay. So, and I didn't do any plays that year, so
Yeah.
Yeah, David Zimmerman. David has been involved with drama at San Carlos for the last 3 years. He appeared in The Wizard of Oz as the Scarecrow and had major roles in MASH, Bells Are Ringing, The Butler Did It, and Mame. And he plans to pursue an acting career.
Memories.
Guess that was a minor role because there's no write-up on me.
Oh my God.
Sarah, the wife.
That was, that I when you told me about that memory, it was like, boop, right back. I picture myself on the stage looking at you and then turning to the audience like, okay.
Yeah,
next.
what's happening now?
And then I went right on, of course.
Show must go on. So 2 years later, I'm now at I'm at Sequoia High School,
right.
And I'm talking to my friend Bob, who I knew from middle school, and he was part of the Sequoia Players.
Right.
And I said, "Oh yeah," and I was telling him what I had done, and I was also in MASH, and was telling him what I did. And I said, "Yeah, I did Bells Are Ringing. I played this maid." And he goes, "Yeah, I saw that performance." And I went, "You saw what performance?" And he goes, "I saw the performance. We were all there because they would go to see other shows.
Right.
And they saw me fall down the stairs."
Oh.
And what was my first question to him? "Could you see up my dress?"
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And what was his response?
He said, "We were too excited that you did so well." No, he didn't see up my dress, because I remember just going full splitzos on the ground.
No, well, I couldn't see up your dress, so.
No, and I'm pretty sure I was wearing clean panties, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Yeah. Well,
no. And if I can find it, I have a picture of us on that from that time somewhere, and I couldn't find it. But
oh, well, if you find it,
yeah,
send it to me. So God, and I just want to go. I want to go everywhere with you. I see in the back there, which we'll get to, and you now after high school, what did you do?
I then my family moved up to Sacramento, so I went to American River Junior College for 2 years. What do they call them? Junior college.
Junior college.
And I got involved in theater there, but I did more stage management, backstage stuff. That's where I got really more into the stage management thing.
Right.
And then I got accepted to UCLA. So I was in the theater program there, and I was studying to be a stage manager. I had to do some acting. I got to do a semester in Italy, where we learned Commedia dell'arte.
I forgot, or I blanked on that one.
And I auditioned, because you had to audition to get in, and I auditioned with a poem from Shel Silverstein, and I didn't have a song, so he had me just he had me mimic an actress who had just done a play that I was a stage manager for. And she was so over the top that it was easy for me to do.
Right.
She ended up being my roommate on the trip. So I got in. So there was the gentleman who was writing the play. We went there, studied Commedia dell'arte, and we were bringing back a musical to perform that last semester, which would include everybody. And they were trying to include me as an actor, but it unfortunately didn't work out. So I was just the stage manager. But I love telling the story of Ron Marasco, who I'm hoping is still out there doing his writing as he did. Ron did not want to give up the end of the play. And the teacher was like, you go get the end of the play from Ron, when we were in Italy. So I knock on the door and I said, Ron, I need the last few pages. And he's like, I'm not ready to get it. I'm like, Ron, I need it. So I'm like, but I need to get it from you. And he was a graduate student. And I got so angry with him. I said, Ron, my mother says I can hate 2 people at one time. Oh. And right now, you're both of them. And he laughed the way he did. Because of my puffy cheeks, he called me Puffalas. He's like, oh, Puffala, you know. And but we put together amazing. It was called Bottoms Up, the Commedia dell'arte play.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of those actors are still brought. Dwayne Boutte is on Broadway, and David Gunderman, and a lot of great Lacari, some great people that a lot of people you'll see on TV.
Now, when did you switch from being in front or on the stage to behind the camera?
I think it was middle of the junior college.
Oh. Because
you guys may not have known it, but I had terrible stage fright. I remember in high school, because at Sequoia, I was also in a play there, had tremendous stage fright. Like I would panic. I'd panic, but like I couldn't talk to anybody because I was afraid I'd ruin my lines.
Right.
And that kind of interfered with some friendships, because I was such so loosen up, people. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay.
Right.
And so somewhere I just thought, I don't know where exactly, but I did a little acting at UCLA, but as a guest. I would come in as a guest in things, you know. And I've always thought, we're gonna jump ahead now, that when I'm in my 70s, I'm coming down. I want to be a character actor.
Listen, I mean, if we didn't have the pandemic, you could come down right now. You're freaking.
I got to work on my memorization skills, but yeah. I'm a comedian. I know. I can see I'm a comedian. You know.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, I forgot her name from. Listeria Street.
Listeria Street.
Listeria Street? What is that show? Oh my God, my 56-year-old brain.
Just somebody I know, or an actor? Or...
No, an actress. She started her career at 65.
Oh, okay.
So
that's my thought.
Got an Emmy. So there you go.
Why not?
Why not?
So I went to UCLA.
Right.
And from there, that summer, I got a job working at an editorial house. So I used to repair editorial equipment. How did I get into that? And I was a projectionist at the place. But at that place, I got to meet, who was it that came in? A lot of movies that came through that, you know, God, see my 55-year-old brain.
Oh my God. Your brain sound, my brain sound like, hey, let's mess with them.
Who directed Born on the 4th of July?
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I know. Yes. Oliver Stone.
Oliver Stone, thank you. I met Oliver Stone. He's an
I was like giving birth.
Nice. He was, yes. Open wider. And the guy who was in Twin Peaks, the actor. Kyle MacLachlan.
Yes.
I had such a crush on him, and I remember him walking down the hallway. My jaw opened up, and I had to physically separate myself so that I could pull myself into the room, because I was just going. I was like, "Don't close the mouth, move away." And then I projected some costume rushes for them, and he came out and he was like stunned. And I said, "Oh, you're the one who played that character. It's really great." And he goes, "I don't know what I got myself into." And he walked on.
Oh my God.
I met Kevin Costner there.
On that set. Now, what was
Not on that set, but on that in the editorial in the editorial.
okay? And that's what you did on that film.
I worked at an editorial house, so that it was just where people would do editing stuff, and I would repair. I was there. There used to be a thing called coding, and the machine, Acme coding machine. You'd put the reels up, and it would place a number every foot, so that when you edit.
I'm going to pause you there because we just got a couple of our students here.
Okay.
I think I'm going to bring them in, and they can learn all about this. What you did, the coding and this and that. So just
that's old school.
I just think it's fun to yes. Oh, hello. Oh my goodness, we have Christina Teves.
Hey,
Coming. Oh.
You're coming, and then we have Caleb Hansen.
Hey.
And hi everyone.
Hi.
Hi, Christina.
David, I miss you. I love you so much.
Oh, I miss and love you so much.
You too.
Hey, this is my good friend Andrea Gage.
Hey guys, nice to meet you.
Hey.
Dina and Caleb, hi.
That's right.
Hey guys.
Oh, hey.
Well, you know, I was
just here.
Yeah, I was just talking to Andrea about her life behind the scenes and in front, but we're right now at behind the scenes.
I went to UCLA, and I was a theater major there, and I used to do stage management, and that turned into afterwards that I used to work in an editorial house in Los Angeles. It was called Big Time Picture Company. Big Time Picture Company. And so there I used to run the coding machines, and what they would do, remember those big reels of film? It's all digital now, but every once in a while people still record on film.
Yeah.
And to edit, they would cut them, right? They'd splice them. And so you had to put numbers every foot so that you could put the reel back together if you needed to.
Wow. And
so
that's what you did.
So that's what I did. I was the one who would, and it would hot stamp the number in different colors. So I have to put the color tape on, and I have to put the thing on, and I had to make sure that the machine didn't skip any of the little holes on the film, right?
Right.
And so then I got really good, thanks to my father. I'm really good at fixing things. So I started learning how to take apart the coding machines and clean them and put them back together. So we would then rent the machines to other editors, and I would have to go to the movie sets, where the editing was. I met Sir David Lean when he was re-editing,
What? Dun, 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 dun,
Lawrence of Arabia.
What?
Lawrence of Arabia.
Yes!
So unfortunately, I did not know who he was at the time. So we're fixing the machine, and his people came in, and they were like, "Oh, are you done? You gotta be done. Aren't you gonna be done?" And I'm just like, we're almost done. We're gonna this. And he walks in, and everybody's like, "Oh," you're like, "Oh, it's true." And I just went, "Hi, I'm Andrea." And David. And I said, "Hi." He had lovely big ears. My grandfather had big ears, so I was just like, "Oh, I like your ears." And everybody's like, "Don't talk about his ears." But I'm like, and he's like, "Oh, hi, great, very nice man," But and then later my cohort said, "Do you know who that was?" It's like, "No, who is it?"
Oh my God.
So yeah, I was kind of an oblivious person working in the biz.
Yeah, what a great story that is.
Yeah, so I got really good at that, and then what happened after that? I then moved into commercial production. I used to make. I was a production assistant, a PA, working on TV commercials. So I did that for many years.
And this was all in LA.
That was in LA still. Yep. I worked for a company for a year, for a company called Dexter Higgins, and we just made a bunch of lovely TV commercials. And it was just one thing I do miss about the film industry, because I'm not working in it anymore. It was just how well people work together. So how the grips work together with the electricians that work together with production that work together with everybody, just everybody knew their jobs and did them well.
Yeah.
And that was just like, to me, that's golden when you're everybody knows what to do, and it's wonderful. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know, while we have these two wonderful students and actors and performers here, Christina and Caleb,
performers.
they each have one question to ask you, and then they're going to be off and running. But
Okay.
they wanted to come on and ask a question. Who would like to go first, Christina or Caleb?
Me.
Okay. And it felt like one of those games where it's like, oh, first hand up. Okay, Christina, what is your question of Andrea?
Okay. Adrian, I like acting.
Yeah.
Did you act in your comp my what to say commercial?
Oh, did I act in the commercials? I didn't act in commercials. I did theater. I was a theater actor.
Okay.
And I have a small role as an extra in the Phantom Menace in Star Wars.
The Phantom Star Wars?
Yeah.
Oh.
So they needed a bunch of extras, so all of us who were working in Industrial Light and Magic at the time came down. Here, I'm going to show you a picture. Where am I? I'm right there.
That's you?
That's me.
Oh my God! Oh my God! What is that? Look at, oh, how cool!
So it's like everybody. This is our yearbook from Industrial Light from Lucas Digital. So you'll write with the Lucas Digital, Industrial Light and Magic, and all of us got to play a little part, and we got to wave, the special effects, wave our flag, and they did it all different directions so they could put us in digitally. So I, unfortunately, here's the sad part, Christina. I went to see the movie and I can see the woman who I was standing next to, but then they put a digital tauntaun on top of me.
Oh, no. So is it like the bottom part of your body? And
no,
no,
I just know I'm standing next to her, but it's at the very end when she gets the ball, when Queen Amidala gets the globe.
Right.
And everybody's cheering, and the people are coming up with that. I'm in that group. What? Everybody's like da 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 da. I'm one of those people. I'm sure I'm in there many times because they digitally reproduced us.
Right.
But yeah, I haven't done much acting in a long time, Christina. And I was just telling David that's something I think I may want to get back into when I'm a little older.
And let me tell you, Andrea is good. I mean, she could come back to, and just start nailing those roles. You really could. You're so good.
Thank you.
In front, behind, the camera, in front, on the stage. Caleb.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you were going to say.
No, Christina, I was like, where do you like to act? Have you done a play or a commercial, or are you still learning? Where are you in your acting career?
A better girl. Good.
Oh, you're back in school. Is that what I'm hearing? No, sorry.
Performing Arts Studio West you go to, right?
Yes.
Great.
I did.
Yes. She's a wonderful actress. Oh my God, she did a monologue the other day. I think it was 2 days ago, wasn't it, Christina? Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Oh my gosh, the woman has emotions. She could just boom, you're just so deep. You could tear up, you could get angry, you could make people laugh. You're just incredible, Christina.
Oh, great.
Yeah, just wonderful. So I'm glad, I once this quarantine, once we're finished with all that, so you're going to get out there and you're going to do stuff. Yes?
Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
I love it.
Excellent. Nice to meet you, Christina.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Caleb.
Oh, yes.
Hi, Caleb.
How you doing?
Good. Thank you. How are you today?
Oh, I'm cool as a cat.
Woohoo.
All right.
Yes, you are.
Well, it was, uh, that was your favorite, like his project.
What
What
was your
was my
favorite project?
What was my favorite project?
Project, yes.
Oh. Okay. That's a good question. I used to work at Industrial Light and Magic in their commercial division. And one year we made a series of commercials. It was for a First Union bank. And one of the commercials actually got to be on the Super Bowl. And why I liked it so much was because there were, and I'll have to send David some pictures of it, just the model making. They did a lot of model making at the time. And I am I always wanted to be a model maker. So to be able to go in and talk to the model makers and be around the model makers was like heaven for me. It was heaven just to be around those amazing people. They're just so talented and kind people. And so we we filmed like at a duck pond. We filmed in a back alley. We filmed it in this old pool. And oh, Caleb, we used an alligator and a boa constrictor. And I don't know if you've ever been around an alligator, but they're prehistoric. It was like, the guy was like, "Would you like to meet the alligator?" And all of us were like, "Yeah." And he opens up the case and it shook its tail.
So
And
this wasn't a prop. This was a
no, it was a real alligator.
Oh.
We all jumped back about 5 feet. Like these big grips and big guys that work we all just went, whoa. It was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah. So in that sense of, that's one of my favorite projects, for sure. Because it was just working up at Industrial Light and Magic. I have such fond memories of just the kind of people who worked there. And I worked with a producer. His name was Paul Hill, and he made productions fun. And like on one commercial, we were going into overtime, like 18 hours of work. So everybody was getting tired, and he went out and he bought everybody a lottery ticket.
Oh.
And all of a sudden we're all, what would you do with the money? And what would you do with the money? And what would you do with the money? It was just a way of bumping up the energy, and so yeah, I've got a lot of fond memories of that place. So thank you for asking that one.
That's great. How long were you in the business? How long were you at?
Well, I was at Industrial Light Magic. I was a freelancer, but for about 8 years, and another couple years down in LA. Can I tell another favorite story?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, I got to work on the remake of E.T. That's the director.
E.T.
Phone home.
Yes.
And they were redoing the parts where the boys were on the bike.
Yeah.
And when the E.T. was in the bathroom. And so I got, I wasn't in the union, but they let me be the assistant director on some of those shots.
Oh, wow.
Which was so much fun to be able to roll them. I got to do some assistant directing while I was there, I just love doing that too.
Me too.
Because see, my brain, you guys are bringing back all these memories.
Memories.
Oh.
Love it.
I quickly, I did a commercial where I had to tell a deaf actress, like, stand and go, and I was telling her in sign language. I wish I could remember it now, but everybody's like, you know sign language? And I knew a little bit of sign, just enough to get her to communicate with her, which was so wonderful.
Yeah.
And I felt special that I could help her and, you know, help her succeed. So I was in the model shop. I've heard, I don't know if you saw E.T. ship is this big silver spaceship.
Right.
And it's a model. And it had been at Steven Spielberg's, I think, his house. He kept it either at his house or his office. Yeah. So they were bringing it back up so we could do some reshoots with it. And it was me and maybe two other model makers, and they were uncrating it. And he was like, don't touch it because it would leave fingerprints. Like, you had to make sure you wore gloves if you touched it. And I was like, all right. So it was like on the back of it, anytime there's a model, the model makers sign the model. And it was like a beacon for the model. Like, no announcement was made, but all of a sudden, all the model makers that had worked at ET came into the shop. Oh. And I was the only non-model maker there. And I was like crying as they're telling stories, because it was just like, I knew I'd never be a model maker, but this was the closest I was going to get to being it. And it was just delicious for me. Like, just to be like I said, to be around those people was just delicious. Delicious.
Oh my God.
I got to work the original E.T. maquette, the puppet. That was fun. And I have a picture of me up on the bike. I got to be on the bike.
The actual bike?
With E.T. in the basket. Yeah.
Da, 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 da. Is that it?
That's Star Wars, sorry.
Oh, wrong one. I started it and then I went into another one.
Okay, I have one more story for you.
Okay, yeah.
These are my big ILM ones that you get me going on.
Yeah.
So, at the time when Industrial Light and Magic was actually closing down, or that was going to move, it's now in the Presidio in San Francisco. The Presidio, you needed to like apply to be there. So we created a film, my producer Paul Hill and myself and Bill George. And Bill George is an original model maker too, and worked on Star Wars and all this kind of stuff. And we needed to go up to George's office, and they were like, well, we need some sort of transition that would go from George's office to what we were doing. And I was like, oh, I know. Let's get the Millennium Falcon model and put it on George's desk. Oh. And I knew the piece from Star Wars that they could grab to use as a transition, which I felt all full of myself. They were like, yeah, okay, fine. But they didn't give me much credit for it. But I'm like, I knew this. So Bill and Paul and I had to go to the archives up at Lucasfilm at the ranch.
Yes.
And while I'm going up there, I'm like, oh, we're gonna go and be in George's office, and I'm so excited, and it's gonna be so much fun. And Bill looks at me and he's like, Andrea, calm down. You better behave yourself when you're there. You know, and I was like, I'll be fine. I'm just excited now. Yeah. Well, we go and we get the model. There was three models at the time of the Millennium Falcon. Small one, a medium one, and then the big, huge one they used. So we had one of the original models, and we put it in our car, and we're going to drive up to George's office. Well, Bill, he's going to hate me saying this. He just starts going, oh my God, we've got the Millennium Falcon in the back of our car. We could just like drive away with it. We have the Millennium Falcon. And he's a geek at heart. And I was just like, Bill, you better calm down. We're going to George's office. And he's like, we get to George's office, and now we need to take it out of its case. And both of us just kind of look at each other like we're about to touch the Millennium Falcon, you know? And so he picks it up and he puts it onto George's desk, you know, and I got to help a little bit. You know, I did a lot of touching like this with things. George is shy, so we didn't meet him, but we were in the same room with him while they were filming this. He was talking to the director, someone sneezed, and George said, oh, when people do those little annoying sneezes, he goes, I don't like those little like achoo, achoo, achoo. well, that's how I sneeze. So the producer kept tickling my nose, trying to get me to sneeze. He's like, sneeze for George, sneeze for George.
Oh no.
And the ranch is a beautiful place to go. I mean, they've got artifacts from all the movies, Raiders of the Lost Ark and things like that. It's just, it just felt like it was just to be part of that movie magic. You know, it was just amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for that. Listen, thank
Thank
you,
you, guys.
Yes, Christina and Caleb. I'm glad you came to join us, and some great questions. It brought all those memories out of her.
Well, happy now. Thank you.
Happy.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I know I'm overdoing it, right? No, but I am. Doing stuff like this, getting together and meeting with old friends and young friends and all friends is something what I love to do. So thank you both, and I'll see you in class soon.
You're welcome.
Oh, definitely. I'll see you later, Christina. Thank you.
Bye, Christina.
And
Bye,
Caleb.
Cat.
Bye, Caleb.
You're lovely.
I love it.
Lovely.
Those were two of the extended family at Performing Arts Studio West.
I wonder, where is Studio West?
It's in Inglewood, California, almost near the Forum.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was very nice. And of course, we have over 100 students watching today.
Hi, guys. Hi, everybody.
Hi, guys.
My big advice, can I give some advice?
You could give, sure, of course.
Is out of improv, the yes and. Because, personally, I believe to be in this business, it's who you know. But then once you're in, it's what you know. And so, like, a friend got me a job at Industrial Light and Magic, but then it was my commitment and my hard work that kept me there, that they kept asking me back, right? So it's one of those things that once you get to know somebody, here's another thing, Paul Hill story. My first commercial that I worked on at Industrial Light and Magic, I actually got to travel to Florida to film dolphins at the aquarium. And as Paul and I are in the hotel room, we were setting up the production office, I pulled out 100-foot cord, phone cable for him. Because you know how in hotel rooms you can't move the phone.
Yeah.
Right? So I gave it, he's like, what's this for? I said, well, but now you can set up anywhere you want in the room. He's like, that's amazing. Right? So then I was somebody that he remembered, because then he did another commercial after that, and he asked the coordinator, hey, give me that cord. She didn't have one. But I did. Right? So it's just thinking ahead, thinking what people might need. It's not like I'm having to kiss up. I'm not trying to kiss up with anybody, because that's not often seen as something great to do either. But to do your job, like as a production assistant, I picked up garbage. I did whatever I needed to do to be part of the group and to just do my job, keep my head low. And I didn't try to suck up to anybody, but that led into me learning how to be a grip, and being the key grip taught me all his equipment. And so that made me valuable. When you're freelance, you want to be valuable, so they keep asking you back.
So you did many different jobs behind the camera. Yeah.
Assistant directing, grip work, PA work. I didn't do anything electrical, I don't think. Mm-hmm. I've been a production supervisor. I've been a post-production supervisor. So, doing the digital stuff and walking that through the people. That was one of my favorite things to do at ILM. Was I used to love to come down and just watch the camera guys work, because they were doing this like slow motion stuff, so it would take forever to do. But just to come down and talk to them about their jobs. And they were like, coordinators don't come down and talk to us about these things. They just come down and go, when are you gonna be done? When are you gonna be done? You ask us things. Well, because of that, when I was also a self-defense instructor while I was at Industrial with a group that's now called Impact Bay Area.
That's when it started?
I was when I came back up to ILM. Yeah, I came up to San Francisco. And I learned self-defense in Los Angeles with Impact LA. So and they do classes for disability. It's like they're a great organization if you want to learn about self-defense.
Yeah.
Well, I was an instructor with them for 10 years, and so I created a PSA, a public service announcement for the organization. It was a 30-second one where this woman is going to her car and a man asks, can you give me a ride? And she says no, and he goes to grab her, and we transition into the class where you actually get to learn full force, and everybody's cheering. Joan is in there too. Everybody's cheering, and then it comes back to her, you can defend yourself. I just got chills when I think of it. Well, that PSA, PSAs don't run for very long. That ran for 3 years.
Wow.
And many other organizations copied it. And so that every once in a while you see it show up on things. This can happen.
Excuse me, can you give me a ride?
What?
My car broke down and I need a ride.
No, I can't help you.
Oh, come on, it's just a ride.
No, step back.
Get in the car!
Women can defend themselves. Find out how at impactbayarea.org. I did that at Industrial Light and Magic, where the director of photography, Marty, the AD, Jack Kelly, all these people volunteered their time to help me make that commercial. So and it was great. If I have to have a regret, I regret that I didn't move forward in directing. I think I would have been a really good director.
You're here.
Yeah.
God, I have so many questions because we could just hang out and talk, but I keep on seeing those Pez behind you.
Oh, Pez.